Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Nigeria is one of the world's most vulnerable countries to climate change and is experiencing the worst floods in a decade. The UK is providing support through the multi-donor Start Fund, which has allocated £580,000 so far this rainy season. That funding is supporting 26,288 people affected by flooding. We will continue to help Nigeria make progress towards long-term climate change, adaptation and resilience.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I welcome the Minister to his place. The floods in Nigeria have already left more than 1 million people displaced, 200,000 homes destroyed and 600 people, sadly, having died. In their wake, cases of cholera are also skyrocketing in some areas due to the lack of access to clean water. Can the Minister assure me that the Government will be focusing aid to help ensure access to water and sanitation and prevent the death toll from rising further?
Yeah. Well, I thank the Honourable Lady for her comments and for her question. Over the last 5 years, Britain has provided £425 million of humanitarian support, which specifically reached over 2 million people in north-east Nigeria, including individuals affected by the flooding. And I can give her this commitment that, working with the Nigerian agencies, we will seek to strengthen flood risk management. And prior to COP26, we supported Nigeria's national adaptation work to help cope with climate change.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And may I welcome my right honourable friend to his cabinet role. I know he believes in the difference international development can make, and let me wish him well persuading his cabinet colleagues. Mr. Speaker, asylum applications are delayed by the thousands, spending on temporary hotels is soaring, and the Home Office is in turmoil. To bail them out, the Cabinet Development Minister has seemingly written the Home Secretary a blank cheque out of Britain's aid budget, spending £3.5 billion that is meant to be tackling the root causes of mass displacement. 41 people have been forced from their homes every minute by the climate crisis since 2008, and the floods in Nigeria, where 200,000 homes are underwater, surely show that the climate emergency is here, it's now, and UK aid is needed more than ever. So will the Minister agree to carry out an urgent review of all Home Office ODA expenditure on whether it is delivering value for taxpayers' money? And can he please tell the House how long he's happy to let the Home Secretary have free rein of his budget to mop up domestic crisis of her department's own making?
Please, it is questions. Other people have to get in as well. It's not just a front bench show. This is for backbenchers. Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, the Honourable Lady, whom I thank for her generous remarks, didn't really refer to Nigeria. But insofar as the budget is being spent in Nigeria, I can assure her that we are very focused on the effects of these floods. There are people now in Category 5 starvation in north-east Nigeria, and I can assure her that we will do everything we can to help those people.
Alan Smith, SNP spokesperson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd also welcome the ministers to their place and look forward to working constructively with them. And I'm glad to hear that there is aid going to the dreadful situation in Nigeria, but surely it illustrates the wider point that you can't do more with less. Surely now is the time to reinstate the 0.7% aid allocation, because these events are going to increase going forward.
Hear.
Well, the honourable gentleman makes a lot of sense, and he knows where I stand on these matters. Fortunately, Mr. Speaker, collective responsibility is not retrospective, but I can assure him we are very focused on the issues that he has raised, and I hope very much that when we have the autumn statement next week, there will be encouraging news.
Manju Singh Desi.
Gurpur, Mr. Speaker. Number 4, please.
Mr. Speaker, the humanitarian situation throughout Somalia is grave and has worsened significantly over the last 12 months. The number of people affected by drought has more than doubled since January, with more than 7.8 million people, almost 50% of the country, now in need of humanitarian assistance. Over 300,000 people are facing catastrophic levels of food insecurity.
Mr. Speaker, mortality and malnutrition are at alarming levels, with 300,000 people expected to face famine in Burhakaba and Bayadoa. And children, sadly, in Somalia are bearing the brunt, with 500,000 needing treatment for severe acute malnutrition, and they are much more likely to die of diarrhoea and measles. And Minister, as families make desperate survival decisions, it will be women and children who will be facing gender-based violence and child marriage. So rather than continually callously cutting aid budgets, what will the government do to honour its commitment to protect women and girls before it's too late?
Well, first of all, I can tell the honourable gentleman that the Category 5 definition, which is those people who are actually on the brink of starving to death, there's nearly 1 million of those in the world today, and 300,000 of them are in Somalia. So there's no question at all about the need. I hope to go to Somalia before too long to see for myself what more we can do. But I should emphasise to him that UK-funded programmes are ensuring that emergency cash transfers, which are very important, are reaching 310,000 people. And on the specific point that he mentioned, in terms of water and sanitation, we are helping 483,000.
Order. It also goes for this side of the House that we've got to get back benches. It's not just a show for ministers and shadows. David Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I warmly welcome my right honourable friend in his much overdue return to the front bench. His return is to the advantage of the government, of course, but also to the advantage of the millions of men, women and children who rely on Britain's leadership in aid, which he has been singularly forthright in pursuing. On the issue, may I bring him back to the issue raised by the honourable lady in his previous question about resources available for aid. Yesterday, the front page of the Times told us that millions, if not billions, of British money is being diverted from aid, saving the lives of children in North East Africa, and being diverted to the Home Office.
It's not just about shadow ministers, it's also ex-ministers. Come on.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank my right honourable friend very much for his kind remarks. And he knows a great deal about this, and the House benefits from his judgment and experience on it. All I can tell him in respect to the Times yesterday is these matters are very much the subject of discussions between the Foreign Office and the Treasury.
Lynn Brown, Shadow Minister.
I also welcome him to his post. Across East Africa, somebody's dying of hunger every 36 seconds. 100 people will die in the time that ministers are at the dispatch box today. At COP, countries like ours are urged to cover costs of adapting to global heating in extremely vulnerable nations, but despite sound bites from Number 10 about helping countries with existential threats they face, our government is cutting support for countries like Somalia. Will the Minister demonstrate he understands the real human costs of climate change by promising immediate assistance for food and climate support in Somalia?
I thank the honourable lady for her kind remarks. In respect of her question, I can tell her that the international community is scaling up in Somalia and in Ethiopia. The World Bank and the African Development Bank have announced more than $35 billion of funding for food security across the region.
Alexander Stafford.
Yeah.